Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to day 3 of the Warships Classic tournament. Our first battle of the knockout stage begins with A&D versus BLUMR. Best of 3, let's go. A&D bringing with them a daring, a Yu Yang. Now this is a radar Yu Yang that's all torpedo spec. An Alvaro de Bazan, a Harugumo, 420 Blaze It All smoke spec Harugumo. A Salem, a Venezia, unique upgrade, Venezia, and a unique upgrade, Moskva. Battleship-wise, we've got a Sniper Spec Montana and a secondary Spec Schlieffen with the DCP mod in slot 1. Mother of Dragons Venezia is not moving, so we very well might be looking at a restart situation. Great. Oh my god, Puddin is awake. Moving back to the other side, BLUMR is bringing with them a Haba, which is a unique upgrade, a Yu Yang, also radar, yep, and also torpedo spec. Their own 420 Blaze It Harugumo, Wooster that's got reload module, and a sniper spec Montana with a little bit of turnsy with the turrets. Unique upgrade Moskva going into the middle, and then we've got ourselves a additional 420 Blaze It All Harugumo and a Manitar and a Bergon heading towards the sea cap. Okay, well, let's see how this plays out. The Venezia has woken up and is moving, so I suppose that means no restart will be called. Now, the Kaba, I do want to mention the Kaba's unique upgrade. So just give me one moment. I'll pull this up so we can discuss that. But basically, it helps the Kaba with gunnery, DPM, whatnot. It essentially fixes some of the issues with it. So it's 6% faster main battery reload time. The firing range increases by 10%. However, this comes at the penalty of 20% to action time of the consumables. So it gets less heal, less DCP, less engine or smoke, depending on whichever it. Well, it's got engine anyway, engine boost, but you know what I mean. So this Kaba's got heal. He's just going to have a little bit less healing out of that. Okay, we've got ourselves BLUMR going into the A cap. A&D grabbing B. Doesn't look like anybody from BLUMR did anything about that. The Blue Mermaid's allowing A&D to just get the B cap for free. And then also to the south, the Yu Yang here is basically able to just grab C. Now here comes the Death Snail. And this is why the Harugumo 420 Blaze It build is so popular. Because this guy just lays out this gigantic line of smoke. And you throw a radar cruiser in there, and you can just do whatever the heck you want. You can see Aegir Dragon has his radar up and running. Looks like we have a torpedo hit on the Moskva up to the north. And contact as A&D's Yu Yang is already almost down by half. And that's the problem with Yu Yang. You see those deep water torpedoes going right underneath the Harugumo. If that was a gearing, might be a different situation. Moskva, once again, coming under trouble for A&D, takes another deep water torpedo. Now he's at 7,000 hit points and it's continuing to fall. His heal is up, DCP is down, and you can better believe everybody has said we're going to focus fire on that target. BLUMR takes some hits though. Look at that. The Wooster just got smacked by the Schlieffen, who's sitting in the middle in the B cap. Like, just basically walking in there and claiming that cap for himself. We've seen Kremlins do that. It's interesting seeing a Schlieffen go in and hit that up. Now, this Moskva is still desperately trying to cling to life. He's on double fires. His DCP is still down for another 10 seconds. I don't think he's going to survive. Nope. There he goes. Kaba takes him down with the fire, with little help from his friends. So with that, first blood goes to the Blue Mermaids, who have the A cap, and they also have the high ground. The high ground on this map is that island over by A cap. You can see they got 2 destroyers there already, plus Harugumo smoke getting that Wooster all the way to that island if that Wooster wants. Kaba detected for a while he was shooting, and you can see the result. Everybody wants him dead. Can you really blame them? Looking around the map, we got a push that might be forming up to the very north. A&D looking to go around this corner, perhaps. They got radar on to see what's around it. And now they see the Wooster pushing up into that radar. That actually... I wonder if the Schlieffen and Montana are ready for this. Oh, Montana is. Look at the shells coming in right now from the Montana on the Wooster. Oh... Man, they fell real short. And then inverted reality Schlieffen shells also fell really short too. Interesting. I was looking at the Montana salvo and I'm thinking, all right, well, here comes the end of this Wooster. And no, that did not happen. That being said, Wooster is continuing to get smacked. He did just go off of radar. What's going on down to the south? Yu Yang for A&D is being chased away. His Venezia buddy is hanging out, but I don't see this Yu Yang surviving at this point. A&D's going to lose a second ship. He's just now getting out of that radar range. But there's one more salvo coming in, and this will probably end him right here. No. Montana does take out the Blue Mermaid's Wooster, so now we are even on ships. Although this poor Yu Yang is just... He's hanging on by a thread. He does have Adrenaline Rush, so, I mean, I guess we just buffed his torpedo reload for the rest of the match. And we've got some crazy stuff going on back at the high ground now with the Wooster gone. You can see the Salem, Harugumo, they all feel comfortable making this crazy push around. And just like that, A&D takes another kill. Yu Yang gets off the board. And now it's just a Harugumo here. And I am sure A&D is just gonna walk right into this smoke and assassinate Tipsy Torpedo. Look at that. 2 ships sinking in close vicinity. As Tipsy Torpedo, I'm sure he's got radio location. He knows there's this push coming around. And he's detected. Here comes the assassination. He didn't even see any of these 3 ships that came around thanks to that smoke screen. Worked against him. Tipsy Torpedo goes down. A&D now has great control of the A cap. They have control of the B cap. And they are desperately running away from C. I do not like seeing the Montana and Schlieffen for A&D in the exact same board position. Makes it very easy for the Blue Mermaids to angle and whatnot as needed. Some hits on the Bergon. This Moskva is extremely low. Now the Schlieffen could literally just W at the Burgon if you wanted to. He's got IFHE, so he will penetrate the 32 millimeters of armor on the Burgon with those 150s. And absolutely chew it up. You saw secondaries going to work right there. Montana on the Moskva. Some hits, but not enough. This Venezia... Where is he? Where is he? There he is. This Venezia should be able to take the Moskva down. His sap shells will penetrate the 50 millimeter of deck armor plating that this Moskva has. And you see what's happening right there? Venezia is a perfect counter to Moskva and Stalingrad, especially because of that. The sap shells just chew through that armor. Probably dead right here. Almost 272 hit points left. All it's going to take is one more salvo from the Venezia to finish him. And then once that's done, the Venezia could just casually change and focus down the Burgon. Oof! The Moskva dodges. Beautiful dodge by what is it? Lolisenkil? That's a really nice dodge. He is still lit. And this will probably... Yeah, it just takes one shell hit and he's gone. Kaba goes into the middle of the cap, trying to do a desperation play there. Maybe gets lucky, hits the Schlieffen. Obviously that did not happen here. And we've got a Daring and a Kaba duking it out. Kind of an interesting setup. So this game is basically over. We're going to try to find ourselves a good death pick. But basically, I don't see a way for the Blue Mermaids to get back into this battle. They're trying to take down this Montana right now. And there goes the Kaba. Ouch. Ouch. That was 16 inches of pain right there, ladies and gentlemen. And there goes renamed user. Now you've seen probably a lot of renamed users on here, and that's because there was a bit of an oopsie, and my understanding is that all the press accounts related to the Warships Classic tournament got reset. And that's why you see all the renamed users on there. And then people were asked, hey, go fix that during the week, and obviously some people didn't get the memo. Alright, well, as soon as this Montana's down, that should pretty much end it. Burgon is going to go down soon as well. There he goes. And let's kind of zoom back off for a second, see if there's anybody else that's going to die. A&D's Yu Yang will die. Now, this is not going to matter other than extending the game just a little bit longer. See, there's your time extension. Point values go down. That gives the Schlieffen maybe enough time to go and YOLO the Burgon or the Minotaur to get smacked. But yeah, this game is pretty much all but over. Now it's interesting, I talked about ships from that patch, right? From 0.8.10 or whatever. But note that the unique upgrades are in, and those are things that were not in when those ships were originally released, of course. So it is kind of interesting that we're kind of doing the time warp with ships, but not with, you know, upgrades and stuff like that. Alright, 3 seconds to go. Thanks to the both teams denying me of a death pick, so it would be a very boring screenshot of torpedoes. There we go. There's your screenshot for today's match, for the first match of the day at least. Congratulations to A&D going 1 up over BLUMR. Let's go back to the... Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 2 of A&D versus BLUMR, the knockout stage. Best of 3, so A and D, of course, wants to win this, go 2-0, take a break for a little bit. BLUMR, of course, wants to win this and force a Game 3. We all want Game 3, so we're going to root for BLUMR right now. Let's take a look at the lineup. We've got ourselves a Daring, a second Daring, identical, no, not identical build. One is more of a gun, the other one's more torpedo-based. We've got Alvaro de Bazan. There's that unique 420 Blaze It Harugumo, Salem, a unique Moskva, another unique upgrade Moskva, Montana, and Schlieffen. Montana is full sniper build, and then the Schlieffen is, as you would expect, more of a secondaries build. Let's take a look at the south here. Opposing them to the south is a Shimakaze that's full torpedo spec. We didn't see this last game with the 12 kilometers torps. We got ourselves that radar Minotaur. It was very effective at sea, but just not effective enough. A couple more shells, and that might have been a different situation in the last game. We've got a unique upgrade Zhao, and then our Montana. All those ships heading towards the A side for BLUMR. Heading towards the C side is a Shimakaze that is dropping depth charges for no good reason. Also, full torpedo spec, unique upgrade. Harugumo, 420 Blaze It. There's that Worcester again with reload. Schlieffen. Now this Schlieffen is a little bit different build than the other one. Look at slot 5. No concealment module, instead opting for the consumables module. So that is DCP, heal, hydro, all those consumables will last, what is it, 10% longer? Something along those lines. Also, main gun reload in slot 6 instead of the secondaries. And then we've got ourselves a unique upgrade Moskva in tow. Now, unique upgrades. Moskva's unique upgrade turns into more of a sniper, a tighter shell dispersion at the expense of range, if I recall correctly. The Zhao's unique upgrade. So the Zhao's unique upgrade also makes it more of a sniper. It's 7% to max dispersion of enemy main battery shells, so shells are 7% tighter, and 8% to main battery maximum firing range. Now this is in slot 6, so you're taking that instead of the straight range upgrade, or instead of the reload upgrade. So you are obviously having to decide to lose a little bit of efficiency maybe with main battery reload or their overall range. But the unique upgrade is generally considered a must for the Zhao because these it turns these guns into much more accurate weapons platform with very strong HE fire chance, all that good stuff. So a lot of people like to use that unique upgrade. Now, I'm surprised to not see a unique upgrade on the Worcester on Dazed here, Dazed. So the Worcester, the problem in my opinion with the Worcester is the radar, it's not as long. If I remember right, it's 9 versus 10 kilometer. And that 1 kilometer really can make a difference. Additionally, you can see all the consumables it has. Obviously, the defensive anti-air fire isn't going to be useful or matter that much, but the rest of the consumables would. And the Worcester's unique upgrade, let me go and explain that to you. Everybody gets 1 extra consumable. Now this is in slot 6, so you lose the reload, but you get 1 more of every consumable, and then A sector reinforcement prep time doesn't matter, but you get also 20% faster reload of consumables. So you get 1 extra radar, 1 extra hydro, 1 extra heal, and it comes up just, 20% faster too. So I feel like that's a very useful upgrade, as Dazed is shooting and detected while shooting. So he was too far away from that Shimakaze smoke. And you can see Tipsy Torpedo's Harugumo now is being forced to back off, pop his smoke to try to help ensure that his Worcester buddy does not get detected. Now, he also was on radar for just a second. Torpedoes coming in on Mother of Dragons. He's got Hydro going. He don't care. So, I mean, honestly, it's going to take some time, but they will whittle down that Mosfa. That being said, kiting south as the Haru and Worcester are doing right now, they're going to have to stop and reposition because they simply lose the angle. Let's go take a look at the other side of the map, as we have Daring and Shimakaze that are both contesting the ACAP, and there's a Minotaur that's currently on fire right there. Obviously, he used his radar to detect the Daring. Daring looks to be firing some torpedoes in the general direction of the Minotaur, but completely is going to whiff unless something changes. Oh, Montana says hello. Well, that Minotaur suddenly doesn't feel so good. Wow. And obviously, the Montana, would love another salvo, is not going to get it. And there goes the super heal. Now, Citadel damage is not as healable as fire damage and flood damage, of course. So he's going to get some of those hit points back, but not nearly enough. Look over at the Schlieffen in the middle of the map. You've got this Daring, who's on Schlieffen Hydro, just basically single-fire torping through to prevent the Schlieffen from moving farther forward. Or actually reversing in his situation. Daring for A&D, quite low now, 900. He's healing, more shells coming in, but he is dark. And I think he'll get off the hook on this one. Wow. He overstayed his welcome there on that radar. Trying to get that kill on the Minotaur almost cost him a ship from that Montana. He was now shooting at the Mosfa that is all the way on the corner of this map. Wow. Let's go back to B for a second as we see a Montana versus Schlieffen. Schlieffen, of course, has those secondaries good to go. Now, this is not the secondary buffed Schlieffen. This is the main battery buffed Schlieffen. It's interesting that he's continuing to choose to shoot AEP. I would have thought he'd switch to HE to try to get fires going and stuff, but they would have. You see... Oh, no. This is a bad broadside, New Jersey. Ooh, that could have been a lot worse. Let's pan back over to the other side of the map. We haven't been seeing what's going on at sea for a while. And Tipsy Torpedo, maybe he's a little too tipsy, taking some more hits. Oh, some brilliant blind salvos right there. Did you guys see that? I think that was the Salem, that blind fire Tipsy there. I love seeing this. A&D continuing to shoot in the general direction, knowing this guy is low, thinking, hey, maybe we'll get lucky. Days now detected, trying to make it to the smoke, but forced to pull the handbrake for a sec there to dodge some shells. He gets into safety, but not before losing some more of his hit points for his trouble. Also, because he had to slow down, there's a very small area which he's going to be, so it's very easy to saturate it and just keep shooting it with what we call French radar. Tempest Mosfa is under trouble. Mother of Dragons Mosfa still being farmed. This is typically what happens at CCAP. You can see just the crisscross of shells in the air. And in the middle of the map, the Schlieffen has turned around and has decided he's just going to go straight in. Wow. Montana shells from super long range. Oh, some of those shells connected. I saw the smoke from him, from that Montana, and I'm like, where did he fire? I was looking for those shells. Very nice use of that Montana there. And Shimakaze takes out the Schlieffen. That's a huge kill for Team BLUMR. And Mother of Dragons is quite low as well now. There's got to be another Montana salvo coming in for this Moskva. Mother of Dragons is going to burn out, though. There he goes. And with that, we have 2 kills, unanswered kills for Team BLUMR. Sorry, make that 3, as the other Moskva goes down as well. Make that 4. Oh boy, they are falling apart now. So that would be this daring right over here just goes down. Boink. And just like that, it's going to be very hard for A&D to catch up, which means Game 3!
Our victory is in sight.
A&D does lose another ship. There goes another daring to the Shimakaze, of all people, who just literally just ran straight at him. So, look at the board. I mean, it's pretty much all she wrote. Navarro de Bazan trying to take down the Shimakaze that's border humping right now. That Shima is out of smoke. Luntan out of smoke. Worth noting, guys, because we're only 11 minutes into this game, and he's used up all of his smokes. Gives you an idea of what competitive is like when it comes to knowing how many consumables you have and when to use them. Worcester broadside. Oof. That looked like it hurt. And looks like Wolf is probably going to be the next one to die for A&D. And when that happens, we should have game set. Let's see. There it is. All right. Game over. Let's go ahead and get ready for our death pick. I don't know, something like that should be fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a Game 3. Nicely played, both teams. And you can see the difference right there in terms of kills and everything. BLUMR just, I think they got a couple lucky hits, some torpedo hits, did some work. But overall, they just played better on Shatter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. A&D versus BLUMR. Game 3. Whoever wins this advances the winner's bracket. Whoever loses, well, they get to help populate the lower end of the bracket. So there you go. Let's take a look. So, BLUMR maids bring with them a daring, a Shimakaze. Now, this is Tipsy Torpedo. He was a 420 Harugumo last game. 12-kilometer range. Unique upgrade. And then finally, one other daring. So, 3 destroyers for BLUMR. They've got with them a Salem, another Salem. Note that one has oven chicken for that extra survivability expert. And you can see the difference in hit point pool right there. 57,400. Did I read that? 54,700 versus 54,200. Now, you get a few extra points, yes, but you also get bonuses to your heal. That's more points you can heal back. So if you think about it, the survivability expert can actually put in a lot of work for a ship that's armed with a super heal. They've got also a Schlieffen and a Montana. Gun build Schlieffen and gun build Montana. You've got Tempest going to the middle, north end, and the Moskva, unique upgrade, and then there's one other unique upgrade, Moskva. So pretty much the standard setup for team, although both battleships going C is kind of a head scratcher in my opinion. Let's take a look at the south of what A&D is doing. A&D is already sending a daring up to the quote-unquote safe island, but it looks like he's going by himself. Alvaro de Bazan and 420 Blaze It All Harugumo heading towards the A-cap with a Moskva. a unique upgrade in the back. And Mother of Dragons is in a Colbert. A range mod Colbert. Wow. We got a Sniper Montana. There's a unique upgrade Moskva. We've got ourselves, of course, a Radar Manatar. And then there's a Conqueror. A lot of change-ups here with A&D. Very interesting setup. Now, the Conqueror is all by himself. And you can see that A&D has pretty much all but given up the C cap altogether. Now, Conqueror is a really good anti-battleship battleship. Because, you know, you've got the really good HE, you've got the really good fire starting chances, and you got the super heal as well. It's very hard to take the ship out, and it's also very easy to just click on enemy cruisers and battleships and break all the things. Alright, so anyways, that Conqueror is gonna just kind of be on its own for a while. Torpedoes coming in on Montana, just barely fizzle out. Whew. Alright, well... Oh! Lolly, I didn't think that was going to connect, but did you see what just happened to his hit point pool? That Montana must have gotten a Citadel on the front turret or something. So Lolly Sanku is going to be forced to just back off even farther now. Some more shells. These might make it over the island. They will. Oh, right through that little gap. Oh, and that was another Citadel. Olasankyo just taking all the hits on those turrets on the front there. Ouch. Brilliant shooting from A&D's Montana. We saw that last game too. Manatar radar going up. That's going to take Luntan out of the cap once more. And you see they rotated, A&D rotated their daring over to play between A and B so they can make sure they get the A cap. And my guess is they're going to bring him into B now as well. Here comes some more Montana salvo, this time on Luntan's daring. Let's take a look at the shell hits. Just barely miss. Got a Salem Schlieffen push down past that fidget spinner island. By now they have to feel like there's not too much in front of them. They probably don't realize that the Conqueror is the closest thing to them. I mean, I'm sure radio location is pointing in that direction. If I'm this daring, I'm like, what? This doesn't make any sense, right? Oh, he doesn't have radio location. Oh. These guys have radio? No. Does Salem? No. Nobody here has radio location. That means that BLUMR has no idea where their nearest enemy is. If they did, and they saw it was the Conqueror, maybe they'd be a little bit less cautious with their push down south. Interesting. Going back over to the A side for a minute here, we're going to see what happens as these guys continue to push. Colbert now has Montana shells coming in on him from ultra long range. Actually, no, that was on the Moskva. And they fell just barely short. Tipsy Torpedo in all kinds of trouble. He's on Moskva radar. Colbert unleashing everything on him. Tipsy Torpedo trying to wait out the radar. The radar's another 4 seconds. He slowed down there. His engines are out. He's basically... He's donezo. He throttles up now, but it's way too late. He gets out a couple of Luck Chuck torpedoes. And that'll be it for him. Next Montana salvo coming in. I knew there'd be another one. It's on the Colbert this time. Mother of Dragons paying attention. Dodges most of that hate. And torpedoes do hit the Alvaro. I think he forgot that the Shimakaze might have torpedoes. That's a big oof, because now he's low, and he's detected on Moskva Hydro and Moskva Radar. So this could end up being a very disastrous, very costly push for Team A&D. Harugumo now getting some shells in. Moskva replying. And Lawless Sankyo is basically done. It's just a question of, you know, what else he can do. Ironically, if he kept on reversing, he might actually have a good chance of smacking that Colbert with some AP. But he's instead chosen death, and he's going to sit here and try to take down the Harugumo. Harugumo is wisely turning away, popping his smoke, but not before taking even more hits. So they do get the kill, but it was a very costly one for this Harugumo. Not only in his hit point pool, but also he was forced to burn a smoke, which he didn't want to use yet. All this has been going on, and yet A&D does not have the B cap. Instead, they are looking to receive BLUMR's push, and you can see Inverted Reality just sitting there, super heal going. He doesn't really care. He's fine. He's fine. No problem. This is fine. He's burning in 2 places now. Again, this is fine. His super heal burns 100% of, or sorry, heals 100% of fire damage. So he really doesn't care about burning too much. At a certain point, he loses the ability to heal enough. So when we see that kind of faded bar go down to about half, then you can get the idea. There's a lot that he can heal back. See right there? Now he's just about to the maximum of his heal, so he's gonna have to use his DCP soon. He's still letting these 2 fires burn, and I understand why. As soon as he gets set on 2 more fires, he's going to have to DCP. 10 seconds left on his heal. And his HE shells on the Schlieffen can absolutely break things. Let's go take a look at what they did to him. Interestingly enough, the Schlieffen still has both torpedo launchers on either side ready to go. Schlieffen does take a torpedo for his trouble. And here comes the super heal and the DCP together. Interesting. Look at how much he's just printing his new ship. Look at that. And guys, this was nerfed. Those of you that have played this game for a long time know the original Conqueror had an even more ridiculous heal. Even more super heal. Conqueror AP now. Schlieffen was not expecting AP in the barrels, and that cost him dearly. Ship goes down. A&D looking very strong here. They managed to get the Bazan around to the backside of Tempest. And look at this Montana just Wing right towards Tempest's Moskva. And those torpedoes will all miss. Daring does manage to get the cap finally for Team BLUMR. But with the Moskva and the Conqueror on the flank here, it's really difficult for these 2 ships, especially the Salem and the Daring, to come away with their lives. Now, Daring is trying to smoke up Dazed Salem, which is a good idea, especially considering more shells just came in and did that to him. Super heal is running, but you got to start moving a little bit, otherwise it's not going to matter. Colbert, now see... Oh, wait. Daz is still detected because of smoke fire penalty, and there he goes to the Daring. Oof. Salem does manage to take out that Harugumo. That was very low health. Speaking of low health, look at the Alvaro de Bazan at 395. He gone. Tempest pops his radar. And for some odd reason, A&D's Alvaro was where he absolutely should not have been. So these kills are making it possible for BLUMR to get back into this. That being said, Daring goes down in the middle of the map, so it's going to be even harder now for BLUMR. There's one last destroyer left for BLUMR. And it's crazy to see this Montana just I'm surprised he called that off. I thought he would have just gone straight in and got on the side of the Moskva and just ended him. But he instead turned south. It's kind of a questionable decision there. Maybe because of losing that Hargamo and the Alvaro, they decided they needed Montana more in the center to make something happen. And speaking of making something happen, he's about to punch Salem right in the face. Oof. Salem puts the super heal on. That's the next super heal. He's getting some good mileage out of that. And then he dies. Conqueror. So this is probably the most effective I've seen a Conqueror in this battle. On this map, in this tournament. In recent memory of tournaments, quite honestly. And I think a large part of that is they kited him away early enough to be able to withstand the shells, heal, DCP, whatever. I think the other part of it, frankly, is the enemy team, BLUMR, did not have radiolocation on that flank. They had no idea that the Conqueror was the closest target to them. So by the time they came south, A&D had enough time to just casually turn around. Is this Montana going to get conga lined? Looks like Luntan only followed the white line there. When you've got a battleship this low on hit point pool, you're far better off just, you know, trying for one lucky torpedo hit so you spread out those torpedoes more. Moskva, Montana both go down. And now it's just 2 ships left for the Blue Mermaids. Correction, 1. And when this Montana goes down, that will be it. A&D continues to progress down the winner's bracket. Ta-da! Let's get set up for our death pick. Something like that should be good. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, setting the winner. Congratulations to A&D.